Today we will understand the structure of these 40 steps in a text which results into awakening, or we can say how to follow those instructions aims at realization. Question comes to the mind that why 40 steps? We should know the answer clearly that why 40 steps? Why not 30? Why not 10? Why only the 40 steps? The world, we already discussed, the world is suffering with the 9 factors. You are listening and learning. One thing is clear that without listening and learning these teachings of the Eastern wisdom, we cannot reach there. But even after listening and learning for so many weeks and years, we have not reached to that state. That is why we have 40 steps. I'm just answering that question. So, why? Because we are not able to maintain that state. Intellectual understanding is there, but we are not able to maintain that state. Now, question comes, why we are not able to maintain that state? I told you that Eastern wisdom is 200% scientific, logical. Why we are not able to maintain that state? Oh, yes, I realize, I know. Consciousness is the ultimate reality. Hence, yes, I have understood in the intellect. Knowledge is there. But my experience says that I am the body and the mind. That is why we have 40 steps. You see that even now, I have an experience that I am the body and the mind. But I am the pure consciousness, I am the real self. I have understood intellectually, but you see, that is why the master says when we follow all these 40 steps, we what happens? Another question comes to the mind that why this does not happen. Here is a GPS, so I know it. Here is a mobile phone. Here is a TV. Here is a manual. You work on it and you have the right knowledge. And then we have, we continue to have an experience of body and mind complex that defies the knowledge that I am the real self. That I am the real self. Are you getting it? So now question comes, why this happens? Why I cannot get rid of these experiences? And that is the reason the master says it is because of the impurities of the mind, ignorance is there, and projection is there. There is a constant projection. The mind cannot conceive of the real self without name and the form. Mind cannot conceive of real self without the name and the form. Even it wants to push. Even after understanding that it is nameless and it is formless, that is what our true nature is, but the mind continues to push. So, how many ways it pushes? That is why we have 40 steps to do. Think. Understand it clearly. My personal experience that I am the body and the mind, but knowledge, Eastern wisdom says your true nature is beyond the name and the form. So there is a big gap. It cannot be resolved just by listening and learning. So second step is contemplation and reflection, and third step is the practice. Simple. Now then there is another problem. I'm laying a foundation of these 40 steps. You will see that these 40 steps are written in a very simple, easy way, but simple and easy may not be simple. Now see another problem, biggest problem. I want to know from the intellect, from the mind, that what exactly is the real self, and that intellect causes the name in the form. It cannot know anything without name in the form. So I have to become a seeker, I have to purify the mind. So you see the big gap. Nameless, formless is the real self, and the mind and the intellect, all our experiences since our birth is with the name in the form. So that is why you might have heard it is a mystical discipline, so called it is a spiritual discipline. Discipline is discipline, whether it is spiritual, scientific, or anything. So mystical, occult, we start using these words and it does not make any sense, because then we say, after all, it's a matter of faith. Why don't you have a faith then? Why we have to continue these 40 steps? You just have a faith. Finished. Be very clear. You have to be very authentic. That is what the spirituality and Eastern wisdom is. Why we don't have that faith? So, do you still remember I told you the lack of faith in the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, the lack of faith in the existence of the real self, because the real self cannot be seen. So that is why we start with, in an American way, I would say you have to create a sacred space every day, all the day, 24 by 7. And how to, you don't create a sacred space, you enter into it. How do you enter into it? By chanting any Shanti mantra with a feeling, with an emotion, with a perception. And that is why we have been doing it. What? Om Sahana Vavatu. So it's now we are beginning. So it is beyond the 40 steps. So I'm becoming a seeker. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. You can use the Shanti mantra not only to go to the highest step of finding the real self anytime. Person is sick, you can do it. You can say that yes, we are creating a sacred space, but we are entering into the sacred space. For example, Om Sahana Bhavatu, I'm coming to your house and meeting you. So, do I have a feeling inside? May we both be protected. I have started creating an auspiciousness. I don't believe it. So, don't believe it, then drop the journey of Eastern wisdom. All belief in the beginning is a blind belief. When you do the practice, when you experience, then blind belief becomes the belief. Are you getting it? Do you think in this way? So when you think in this way, you get a solution. No, 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 I don't believe in these Shanti mantra. Are you at peace? No, so do it. You have a problem to solve. What is that problem? I have a problem with my son or daughter. Oh, so first create that space in your mind, sacred space in the mind. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Hunaktu, may we both enjoy together what we enjoy together, our conversation. I should not lose my temper, and you should. If you lose your temper, then what? I am following the path of the Eastern wisdom. You are creating an auspiciousness. Are you getting it? Sahaviryam karva vahe. May we work together. Oh, otherwise, Jason, come, honey. So let us work together. So with the ego, I always keep the solution inside. It doesn't work that way. But this message says, let us work together. I'm giving a practical application. You can apply that in your daily life. So what it says, Sahaviryam Karvavahe, third line, may we work together with a great energy. So what it means by working together, here is the truth. I also approach the truth and you also approach the truth. I don't have any preconceived opinion and solution in my head. I want to force, I want to logically prove that you follow me. Then only it will be all right. So what happens? You are already into that state of the auspiciousness. This is meaning the creating is sacred space. Primary level, primitive level is just you burn the incense sticks and you spread the mat. That is at a primary level. We have already left it. We all are seekers. Everything has to be done with the reference to the knowledge. Knowledge, how can you get the knowledge? By the thought. Thought is the product of knowledge. So that is why we are repeating this mantra. Now, do you believe now? Still, our mind has a doubt. So, how this doubt can be removed? By practicing it. Sahaviryam karva vahi tejasvinavadhitamastu. I should remain alert and attentive. That if the mind becomes the master, I will not support it in myself. And if the mind becomes the master in you, I will not support it. I will not get carried away. Are you getting it? Look at the practical application. And ma vidvishavahe, the last, even if you miss all the four parts, Master says ma vidvishavahe. Don't have envy against anyone, and especially the one whom you are talking, whom you are communicating, whether you are living a professional life, family life, personal life. Let them have it, but you don't have it. So, what happens? You have already created a sacred space. You are able to maintain that state of the calmness and the joy. We are trying to understand why 40 steps and what a seeker does before the 40 steps. You wake up in the morning, it takes hardly 5 minutes. Or you can say Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. That is also any Shanti mantra will do. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. It results into the same thing. It results into the same thing. Understand this clearly, my friend, because we have to start with the 40 steps. And that is why I have been asking you, do you apply the teaching every day? You wake up in the morning and just do it. Mind, because of the past impressions, because of those 9 factors which causes the suffering, will will try to force you not to do it. You. And the intellect says, no, I have to do it. And you do it just for a week and you will see the change. Because that's so called, not at the material level, you have created a second, you have created that space in your mind or spaciousness in your mind. And now during the day, if someone says nasty things, you know how to respond. Why? Because I have to remain as a seeker throughout the day. Then these 40 steps will work. So, daily practice, daily listening and learning. I have already told you contemplation and reflection, daily japa as many times as possible. Just, your mind is empty, so let me do it. You want to talk to someone, so I explained with reference to 5E, engagement, and you are engaging the mind. That mind is causing the problem, you are engaging the mind in the japa. So ultimately, you are educating the mind and empowering the mind. So now, my mind says, yeah, for example, you pick up any mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. So you are meeting someone, and mind says Om Namah Shivaya, oh, I'm meeting Shiva. So you are talking in that space. You have rejected the mind that is trying to become the master. That is what is very important in the journey. Now, another problem comes, I do it, but I forget it. Now, I have done today and I forget it, and then during the day, I was carried away by my own mind. I'm saying by my own mind. I'm not carried away by you. So, when I'm carried away by my mind, then I have to look at the mental state. And that is why I discuss the four types of seekers. Out of the four, we have to choose only one. We have to reject the two types of seeker, and the fourth seeker is already experiencing and realized. The first type of the seeker I translate into very near equal English is the distressed. One is the distressed. How to define that distressed? Those who turn to the existence or the God in times of difficulty or suffering. I have, say, for example, a guy spends $50,000 for treating an illness. Doctor says, I am sorry. Then he says, no, let us, and someone guides, so let us go to the church and pray. Distress. Is there any problem that I let me continue to pray and get the treatment? Do you see the nature of the mind, which says, my experience is greater than the knowledge? So that is the meaning of the distress. So what they want, immediate relief from the problem, protection from the harm or danger, comfort and the solace in difficult times. They are not seeker. They are lower level of a seeker. They are still a seeker, you can say, but they are lower level of a seeker. Overwhelming life challenges. What is their pain points? Because they look more to the problems than to the solution by calming down their mind. They have lot of physical and emotional distress. A sense of helplessness is there. They cannot, they have to rise above. They have to think. They have to contemplate and reflect. Another level of the seeker is the right seeker. We say jigyasu. Jigyasu means the curious, committed to know who am I. That is another translation. So check yourself. Are you into that mode of a seeker? Those who approach spirituality or the Eastern wisdom with a desire to understand and learn who am I. What they want, deeper understanding of the spiritual truth, answers to the existential questions. They don't hesitate to ask the question, but their question is always right. So if the distress is asking a question, it doesn't work that way. What is their pain points? Can you find out the seeker? I have listed 4 points. Lack of uh, lack of faith in the validity of the teaching, lack of faith in the real self, and ignorance and the lot of projections. So they realize that I have projections. This question is solved. What is the next one? Seeker. That is if I use the word, that is a genuine seeker. So what happens, even if you become a seeker, you will recognize where is the imbalance in your relationship, in your personal, professional, social, and the family life, and you will be able to balance it because of your level of awareness, because of your understanding. Can I continue the journey by myself? Answer is yes, you can continue, but the pitfall is there that you are not fully introduced all the principles. Sometimes what happens, too much of analysis in a wrong direction results into paralysis. Analysis paralysis. I go on analyzing and then so that is why Master says you have to follow these principles of Eastern wisdom. I'm studying physics and I enter into biology. It will not work. So the master gives us, or the teaching, knowledge gives us a systematic, structured approach. That is why we should have these 40 steps. And the third type of the seeker is very happy, healthy, all kinds of pleasure, sensuality is there. So that seeker mind is that how to get more. Seekers of a material gain. So my mind is totally fixed on outside world. So I got married and divorced, so let me marry again. I have lost here, so let me get more and more. So that material gain keeps the mind in the world again, and the world will cause the suffering. But they are able to manage their suffering because they have all the means. But question is their mind is constantly moving into that world. Mind is not clear. Purity is not there. So it becomes very difficult for understanding the truth of the Eastern West. Now do you understand that this is what happened? So we have to analyze and understand. And the fourth category, their principles are very clear. They have 4 types of intellect: righteous intellect, love intellect, dispassion intellect. So their intellect works through these 4 types of intellect. Then your life goes smoothly. You don't worry. So I told you that the Sadhana Panchkam, or the 40 steps, 5 verses to the 40 steps, is a complete masses teaching of more than 3,000 texts. So how to bridge and compress and create a zip file, and that is what we are going to open up each zip folder into different files to understand clearly, and then if they are instructions, they say that you do it. You simply do it. So the higher seeker means, yeah, I have understood. Yes, I will do it. Are you thinking of doing it or just leaving it? I wake up in the morning and it is a bad morning. You forget I have to do my create a sacred space. It happens. It will happen. It will definitely happen. You don't forget on even on a single day. And after a few weeks of the journey, you will see, yeah, it is working now. So you started with a blind belief, now it has converted into a faith. That is why one master used to say, belief pending inquiry. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. We don't say simply believe it. All the religions say believe it. We don't know the cause. We don't say that. We say belief pending inquiry. You have started doing the practice, you are constantly experiencing the change, and you put it logically, and ultimately you understand. This is why Master is saying. See that? So, unique feature, it is instructional style. It covers all ages, all ages, all age group. I have told you. So, little more understanding. First five steps, it talks about performance of action. It gives us little instruction in the first step that please do it like this, follow the routine. And in the second, third, fourth, and the fifth, it says how you are performing an action. Oh, I'm in a hurry. I have to go. So why you are in a hurry? Why you are not calm to go to your workplace? Oh, because it is becoming late. What you did in the last night? Did you not relax? No, no, I was looking at the horror movie. But even then, you know that you have to go to look at it. So it guides us how to perform a karma. It does not give you any direction that what action you should do in your profession. Each one has a different profession. It says what should be the attitude inside. That is what the first five instructions. Then the three instructions is all about that how to mature your power of discernment and dispassion. So you should understand the maturity of the power of discernment and dispassion. I'm just giving a brief of it so that you should have a clarity. Now, one thing, that's a beautiful, I want to put it in a different way. Three more instructions further uh, guides us that how to change your thought, speech, and action to have a conducive environment, conducive state, conducive condition every day. Why? Why? We have to ask why to every question. If you closely analyze last week, your lifestyle since you wake up until you retire to the bed, your interaction with the world causes us unconducive, unfavorable situation. I and I and Barbara were just talking. Oh, there is a sickness. Barbara said, you see that in relationship to the word, it causes a sense of anxiety, unconducive, unfavorable situation. So the way I take a particular situation, particular relationship, particular action, that is the cause of unconducive, unfavorable, painful, reactive experience in me. So then we have three steps how to deal with it. Then you have the 12th step. It talks about you have a maturity. You have a you are a mature seeker. So it talks about that you become a seeker inside, not outside. What is outside becoming a seeker? Wear the orange colored clothes, huh? Have a lot of stuff on your physical body, huh? Walking on the fire and claiming that it is a spiritual journey. Uh, Only eating vegan forcefully with a problem in the mind. I'm not saying not eating vegan is definitely good, but you force yourself. It causes a kind of a stress if you don't get a vegan food. That is not the sign of a mature seeker. I created a condition, unfavorable condition in my life. Yes, if I have some allergic condition, I can avoid it. I can say it openly. So I have to become a mature seeker. In the very beginning, I told you the mind has a different experience. Eastern wisdom says I am the real self. There's a big gap. There's a big gap. And then we have three instructions. It says that how to live with the teacher. How to live with the teacher means your attitude, your attitude, your response. So, teacher here means the knowledge, simply knowledge. So, how you respond to the knowledge is the same old habitual mind is responding to the knowledge. It has already responded unconsciously, subconsciously. So, you are not going to experience that. So, there is a maturity. And the 16th step, what is exactly the art of listening and learning. I have been talking about what is listening and learning. So, what exactly is the art of listening and learning? What is the art of contemplation and reflection? Three more steps. Then, then we have then we have from 24 to 23 steps. How many? Nine. Nine steps are for meditation. It opens up the clarity about everything about the meditation. So during that process of meditation, I'm undergoing a transformation. I am undergoing a transformation, provided I am a seeker. I don't fall into the first and the third category. Is it so serious? No, it's a play and fun. And then the last six steps tells you that what exactly is awakening, what is enlightenment, what happens after it. So after awakening, do you become a different person? Do you go to the Walmart and tell the cashier I'm awakened, give this item free? Then how you live, how you think, how you speak and act. People have very lot of misconceptions about it. Oh, that guy, Buddha became so famous. There are thousands of masters living in India, and they don't want. They don't want to teach. They are just living there. So it gives you a final touch that you know the real self, you realize, you experience the real self and how you live based on your temperament without violating any challenges in the world. So, this is in brief. I will talk in one more session in detail, and then we will start with the first. We will start with our journey. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed, my friends. Eyes are closed. Place, position, posture. I'm not saying anything. I claim. Oh, why should I claim? No, but still I claim. I claim that you are a seeker of the second category. First, beginning of a seeker. Third, material gain. So that is why I'm saying. So the place, you are aware of the place, you are aware of the position of the body and posture, my friends. You are comfortable. I need not to talk about how to be comfortable. You have heard from me almost minimum 1,000 times in variety of ways how to instantly move into that state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now you see that you're changing your experience. Mind has one experience which prevents you to realize the real self. Now you have, no, you say, no, let me stick to sensation, comfort, and steadiness. What about being carefree? Yes, I know what it means by being carefree. Oh, carefree, free from all the cares. Can I say free from all the six neighbors? Because after all, they are neighbors, they are not you. Can you recall the after being carefree? You simply know the first neighbor is the world outside of people, relationship, events, situation, things, country, etc., etc., of time, place, and object. So that is my neighbor, yes. Is neighbor me? You should answer it. So if neighbor is not me, why my mind is going back again and again? Second neighbor is the body. So there comes, I am the body. No, body is the neighbor. In deep sleep, I don't know where is the body. Definitely, I'm not the body. But here I'm making a very softer tone that body is my neighbor. We cannot change the neighbor. We have to change our attitude. Our neighbor, the breath, the very existence, this breath or the life, the power by which the breath goes in and out is prana. And that prana is all pervading. It is pervading all around you, all around me. This body leaves, prana is still there. Third neighbor, fourth neighbor, Fourth neighbor, the mind, our crazy mind, projected mind. On one hand, peaceful mind, calm mind, and a seeker mind on the other hand. You see, lot of struggle. Fifth neighbor is the I-ness in the intellect. I-ness in the intellect, listening and learning. And the sixth neighbor, because of the five neighbors, I claim it is me and mine, so I have ignorance, which is also known as the causal body. By regular practice, the mind starts breaking the ice, melting the ice of that ignorance. Did I tell you belief pending inquiry? But you have to apply the knowledge in the practice. And then we come to the fourth step of the stage. One is the Mangalacharan. We don't forget that auspiciousness. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. I gave you another explanation today. Just my mind prompted me to explain that. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Peace is my essential nature. You have already transcended the sixth neighbor. Why? That peace is all pervading. Or the happiness. Happiness is my essential nature. It is the essential nature of all the living beings. How come? Beyond the name and the form and the body and the mind and the intellect and the I-ness and the word. All the six neighbors. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. You know, can you figure out? Is your intellect ready to figure out to drop the burden of the mind? Mind says, I know the peace with reference to these six neighbors. Give me a drink, then I will be in peace. Allow me to rest, then I will be in peace. But what we are saying, peace is our essential nature, bypassing all the six neighbors. It manifests through the six neighbors, that is different. Sarvesham, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Everything is complete. Every individual is complete in itself. And that sense of completeness is what the real self is. Can you see that the world is complete? All the six neighbors are complete? They are always incomplete. That's why we become sick. That's why the mind becomes crazy. That's why the intellect says, I don't understand. Are you getting it? And then what happens when you live in your intellect with this knowledge? Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. You have already created an auspiciousness. You have already created a foundation, a ground for the mind to move ahead. And now we will move to the stage 2, looking deep inside the forehead in the space, and you are dropping Om Shanti. Yes, stillness in the body, and start breathing from the belly, long in the hissing breath. When you inhale, the belly expands like a balloon and contracts, squeezes like a balloon. It's a long in the hissing breath. Hissing, I say that you make a sound of it while inhaling, while exhaling. And check. No resistance, please. If there is a resistance, knowledge in the intellect results into endurance and you continue the journey. You do not stop. You should not start jumping. Body should not jump. Body should not jump at all. Body should remain in the state of the stillness. So you will not find the progress. That becomes a distress seeker. I'm just explaining each and everything that you become the teacher to yourself. So you can be a person who can help others near and dear to continue. Resistance is met by an endurance and the joy of doing it. No movement in the body. Are you understanding? No movement in the body. One guy is still moving his head and the neck. You see, the mind avoids listening and learning. That is what happens. That is why we need a 40 steps. Continue breathing long in the hissing, but don't move your head and the neck. Please, are you listening? Don't move your head and the neck. Don't move your head and the neck. I'm not telling the name, otherwise he will be frustrated. Continue breathing long in the hissing, paying attention inside the forehead with. You are breathing continuously. Om Shanti. Now stop this breathing. Just watch how the breath returns to its normal breathing pattern. Pay attention to the flow of the breath. Whether both the flow are equal, it is definitely better than the unequal flow of the breath. Continue to have that attention on the flow of the breath in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You will recognize on the skin. You have a good experience of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You can have multiple experience. One is the blankness or freshness inside the head. Other is the flow of the breath you're aware of. Third is the sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body. I said outside, and looking inside, you have a state of calmness and quietness. So I'm giving you, these are the signature steps to understand. Sensation means I have a lot of sensations in the body. At least one thing is clear, the mind has changed its direction. It is looking at the second neighbor. Then we have a relaxation, that is an experience in the mind. And the stillness, also an experience. It is the stillness in the body, it is the relaxation in the body, it is not the relaxation of the body. And when we look inside any sensation, we define it as a state of the calmness. Why? Because the mind is more attentive to the sensation inside the body than to the wandering thoughts. And it is too far. The space is the state of the quietness. And now, looking at the breath, make your breath deep, silent, and slow. Pay attention. Deep, silent, slow breath means you inhale silently, first into the belly, then into the rib cage. You exhale silently through the nostril in the state of stillness in the body. And then you move your mind from the top center of the head at the time you inhale. Mind and the breath goes into the spine, reaches to the tailbone, and your mind is thinking. Mind is saying mentally, Om Shanti. Shanti ends at the tailbone while breathing in, and then you start with the Om. Mind rises into the spine with the breath, reaches to the top center of the head with Shanti ends at the top of the head. Just see that can we create that synergy of the mind, of the breath, and the mantra in the state of the stillness in the body. And now leave there, start dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers and keep checking all the senses are within the mind. We are already moved into the third stage. Continue. And now the last step, moving the mind inside the cave of your heart. Visualize the triangle of any color. Move the mind on the side of a triangle, dropping Om Shanti clockwise, anti-clockwise. Once you find a sync, that is the right moment to push the mind inside, singing mentally finding mind seemingly stops. You say Shanti, and after that, nothing doing nothing, absorbed into self absorption. Finished. And you remain as you are. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, David and Jerry?
Very good. Thank you. My takeaway from the lesson is I think you called it the sacred space, that everything needs to come from the sacred space. The mind, the attitude, the actions needs to come from that sacred space. So the purpose is we need to really focus on making that sacred space a special place. So deep, dark, quick meditation.
Beautiful. You know, we need to discover that space inside us. When I discover that space inside me, there is already a sacred space everywhere. So at a very primary level, I would say, kindergarten level. You burn the incense sticks, and then you place something. I have seen in a lot of studios. But here we are as seekers, so everything has to be supported by the knowledge. So, does burning the incense sticks and creating that space by that ritual doesn't work? Yes, it works. It also works. But it works at a very lower level. My mind is already distracted and I'm burning incense sticks. So that is what needs to be understood. How are you, Jerry?
Correct. Thank you. And the meditation was really deep, absorbed, effortless. And I also like that, we sometimes in the studios in different places, we think we need to create an altar and a space, but the space is already there. And so once we always know that, so then that affects everything. It's everything that we do on the outside is an opportunity to let that space manifest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it would be a wonderful thing that the space is already there. Let me recognize by any Shanti mantra or a thought which is a product of knowledge while burning the incense sticks outside. That will also work. But at a higher level of a seeker, even if that is not there, we are good. We are good. That needs to be properly understood. How are you, Dennis? Beautiful sharing. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. The talk today reminded me that every moment of our life is conducive, auspicious, and favorable. And
Yeah.
if we see any unfavorable condition, it is only due to my own attitude, due to my own ignorance. And as soon as I realize it, then this unfavorable condition has instantly become favorable because it triggered right contemplation and led to the right conclusion. And my meditation was very deep, calm, and quiet. Thank you.
You see what a beautiful explanation of this. You see its application. I'm in stress, so let me recover, or let me recover that space. If I say so, let me recover that space retrieve that space in me by the knowledge. Mind, why you are in anxiety? Why you are reacting? Calm down. Calm down. Let me go with it. This anxiety and reaction is because of the world outside, because of the interaction with the world outside. Let me interact within myself. Such a beautiful way explained. So when I'm in anxiety, in reaction, in duality, in a conflict, I want to settle a score with someone. So you settle a score, but first create a space. No, but the other guy is not listening. Other guy is shouting. So you also shout, but now you are shouting with the space. So you are playing. You want to get the things done. Why you are not doing it? So you don't get angry inside. So anger, also no, expression of that shouting also has a role to play. I asked my master, you don't become angry. Yes, I become angry. I shout, when you are not listening, I have to do something to make you listen. You see, so the entire life changes. That is what beautiful. How are you, Barbara? Then I'll come to you, Samir. Yeah.
I am good, thanks. I had a very difficult week this week, and I didn't think that I would be able to achieve a deep level of meditation, but I did, and it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. So same thing. Now you have your mind reflected some challenges in your life. First you enter into that space and then deal the problem with that space. So that you will see that unfavorable becomes favorable. Beautiful. How are you, Samir?
Now what is happening now means mind wants to go inside in search of peace.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was in anxiety, then I used to think about outside things. That outside I used to go in search of peace, that I may get peace. But now mind wants to go inside because it is becoming clear day by day that it will happen only by this. What the way means it
Yeah.
will happen like this only.
Yes.
It will not happen if I keep on doing anything in the outside world. It is becoming more and more clear in my head and it is
Yeah.
going inside me.
Big point. What mind moving outside? That is has been the nature of this impulsive, habitual, ignorant mind because it is seeking something outside. And in that seeking, I get an experience. I'm drinking tea, so I feel good. That is my experience. What you are talking of the real self. But you are becoming a seeker when you recognize this. The mind is constantly looking inside. And one of the best way is to live into that auspicious space all the time. You are moving from one action to the second action. Let me have the space and then let me interact with this guy. Oh, this is what the proposal is. Internally, you do it. Huh? You want to go to talk to someone for a business proposal, so you cannot say just sit down. Let me burn the incense stick and create an auspiciousness, then I will talk to you. The guy will leave you. So you have to understand that part also. Knowledge is more important. And we normally do. No, I went to home, I created a space, I offered myself, and then I came to you. So during that process, you are already into anxiety. So you are full of reaction. You are already in the mode of unfavorable reaction. You may have many doubts. I will clear those doubts later. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. The lesson today brought up for me. I remember when I first started to sit for meditation, I couldn't sit for 5 seconds. And now I do it every morning.
Good.
our practices and our sessions, and I've been able to fit all this time in to that sacred space, so it helps to restore faith in the Eastern wisdom.
Yes. Yes. Because you believed it, you started the practice, so the 5 seconds converted into an hour. Belief pending inquiry. What happened? Now contemplate and reflect, Christina, that why it happened and why it did not happen before. So the more and more your intellect becomes clear, it passes that awareness to the mind will be purified. Beautiful way to put it. That is good. Thank you, Christina. How are you, Terry? I only see your forehead. It's okay. Yes, now I see you.
Um, I'm
You're good?
yes.
Good.
I'm just growing. Yeah,
It's okay.
just
It's okay.
growing.
Good. Very good. So, how are you, Ashok?
So namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you. Sir.
Thank you, sir, for attending.
Oh, sir, really Independence Day comes when we are
Happy
very
Independence Day in India. Yes. Today is 15th here. It was, yeah. Very good.
So the real independence comes when we are with the real self.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so we are on the we are on the right path, we can say.
Yes.
So peace and mind is peace and calm, and the breathing is also in equal. We can say. I'm not measuring it, but it is almost. Yeah, it is okay. So,
When you say it is okay, you are
sir,
already measuring it. Okay. You have an
okay.
experience of that.
ठीक है सर ये भी ठीक है नहीं yes you are right sir so I'm watching तो है ही है सर watching देख तो रही हूँ
Yes, yes. We
दूसरा ये कि
need.
whenever
Very good. Very good.
whenever I have some problem so I should look inside me or look at the problem.
Look inside me. Whenever you have a problem, you have to look inside yourself.
We have to look inside ourselves, or we have to look into the problem. We have to find the solution. Mind has to be put inside us or outside that problem, which is difficult, which is probleming us.
This week, what you said, put why before the statement you have put before me, and find the answer. You will get the solution. How are you, Sangeeta? Thank you.
सर बहुत पीसफुल था और सर एक चीज लगती है कि कई बार कुछ काम करना पड़ता है जो मन नहीं कर रहा करने का तो उस टाइम मैं अपने मन को कहती हूँ कि करना है और मन से करना कि जो काम भी करना पड़ रहा है उसको मन लगा के करना है और खुशी खुशी करना है तो पीस रहता है.
She has raised a very good question that we will be covering in our 40 step of the journey. What I should do, intellect says this is right to do, mind does not want to do. It is with everyone. What I should not do, intellect says what I should not do, the mind always likes to do. It is with everyone, I can tell you. So it's a dilemma. Why it happens, we will explore that. So what she says that what I ought to do, I ask my mind that you should do it. and I feel good. That's a very beautiful question. It will come up in the first 5 steps of these 40 steps. That is all, my friends. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Namaste,
you so much.
everyone.
Namaste.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day. Thank you.
Happy